What's happening, gang? It's your boy Retro back again with another reaction video. Yeah. Today we got another huge update. We now have Trump's legal spokesperson and attorney Alina Habba coming forth, absolutely going off on that Judge Juan Merchan, exclaiming that he is corrupt as can be based off his behavior inside that courtroom today, guys. I'm not going to do too much talking on the front end because I'm so excited to get into this update and see exactly what Judge Juan Merchan is doing inside this case now. I mean, he's been corrupt since the start, should have recused or removed himself from this case from the beginning, but he is very selfish and has personal political interest within this case, so that's why he stayed on it. Guys, we're gonna get straight to the clips though, see exactly what's going on there, and I'll give my thoughts on the back end, guys. So definitely stick around to the end, so guys, get my thoughts on the back end, and also YouTube push this video out. Definitely stick around until the end, you guys. But let's get straight into the clips. Before we do that though, make sure you guys hit that like button for me and also hit that subscribe button, guys. We're on the road to the truth. Hop aboard for the journey. Let's get into it, y'all.
With me now outside the courthouse, one of former President Trump's attorneys, Alina Habba. She is here supporting President Trump, but not representing him as part of the legal team in this case. You wait now. How is the president feeling? How are you feeling about this case in the hands of the jury?
I think it's business as usual. Nothing's really changed in terms of our perspective. Listening to the jury charges was concerning, to be honest. I think that they were, and it's been widely reported since we came out of the jury charges, that there is clearly any of the 4 underlying crimes that he could have done. They don't care what it was. The judge said basically all you have to do is figure out whether there was intent or not. And there has been no proof of that. But the judge gave a very, very generous bandwidth to the prosecution. And I think that's why the president's comments and sentiments are exactly accurate. You know, Mother Teresa really couldn't get out of this one, because if you say, you know, if you have intent for a scintilla of a second, and it could be for anything, for any one of these 4 things, taxes, campaign, all the things that frankly they showed no evidence of, but they gave them so much breadth that I have concerns.
Do you have faith, though, in fellow New Yorkers as a jury of your peers? I don't know that it's possible to find a jury of your peers for somebody like a former president, but faith in the system here and these New York jurors is now, his fate sits in their hands.
Shannon, I haven't had faith in the state of New York since I saw what they do to President Trump and started working for him. I'll be honest with you, what I've seen over the past few cases, what I've seen in some of the other cases in the state of New York, what I've seen with the coordination with DAs and AGs, and we have some information that's come out today, obviously, about judges' affiliations and other things like that. I mean, it's corrupt as can be. And unfortunately, the state of New York has failed its citizens, and we're seeing it time and time again. But it's failed its citizens for one party, and that's silencing the Republican Party. And it's not right. It's un-American. And frankly, at this point, you know, I've had enough angry sound bites in these courthouses now. I could say almost entire block. I was down there for 11 weeks. I was at another courthouse behind me for 3 weeks, and now I'm here. It's a disgrace to the American people, and we should all pray to save our country, frankly, at this point.
Well, do you think, though, that the jury can parse through that, can consider all of those things? They were told to quiet the outside noise, quiet the outside voices. But listen, the whole world is watching this. They're watching and waiting this jury. They must feel the pressure of that. And do you trust? We know there are at least two attorneys on the panel as well. Do you trust that they're going to work through this in a responsible manner, though?
You know, I don't think it matters what your profession is. I think that it's a good thing they're asking questions. It's a good thing they're trying to look at testimony, credibility. I think that's very important here. I think credibility is the one thing that they absolutely have shown that they have none of, from the top to the bottom, frankly. And if the jury considers that and discredits any testimony that was frankly false, then, and it all was, in my opinion, then we're going to be fine and we should get an acquittal. But we're in the state of New York. Like I said, the jury charges I thought were a bit unfair, very unfair, frankly. And President Trump is President Trump. And what they're doing really is not about books and records. It's a sideshow. It's a way to stop the American people from looking at President Biden's policies that are failing. It's a way from distracting. And if you look at what happened yesterday with Robert De Niro, that is a low state of our country. We've got a old-timer actor coming from California as a spokesperson for a campaign, the current administration running America. What a sad state of affairs. It is just pathetic.
Well, let me ask you this. It seems like, and President Trump, he predicted this when before the first indictment even happened here with Alvin Bragg more than a year ago. He said it would be good for him. He thought it has been in the polls. It has been in fundraising. So is there a net positive to him from this whole thing?
Well, if you want to look at it from a political standpoint, I think then, yeah, that's different. We have Americans, we have people that were Biden supporters. I can't imagine how or why, but they're now waking up and saying, whoa, this is not America. This is very un-American, and we can't survive another 4 years of this. So if you want to look at it that way, sure, but I don't think countries need to hit rock bottom. I don't understand why we couldn't have continued on an upward trajectory of American morals, of the Constitution. I'm not sure why we had to hit this low point, to be honest, but if that's what gets President Trump back in office.
But you know, when you talk about things like morals, people will say, this is a case about a former president, somebody who was running for president, paying off a porn star who alleges that she had a relationship with him. I mean, that sparks a whole other conversation about morality, who's running the country. Obviously, voters in 2016, it was not a problem, or they factored in what they knew about the Access Hollywood tape and other things, and they were comfortable sending President Trump to the White House. Yeah. They've had 4 years to think about the way he performed, now 4 years of President Biden. But some of them will always now have this vision with President Trump that these kinds of dramas and things will be just part of his package, part of what comes with him as president.
It's called extortion. Extortion is something that happens with people when they are powerful, when they are strong-voiced, and when people listen to them. It is a natural consequence of being a very effective human being in this unfortunate culture that we have. It is litigious. That is what America has become. And Joe Biden, unfortunately, can't really do anything in office, so he's got to use the same means as somebody who's just trying to have a quick slip and fall and make money. And that is frankly what we're seeing right now. This is exactly a Biden show because he's got to distract the American people. Listen.
But the Biden administration's not responsible for this trial.
How can you say the Biden administration's not responsible for this trial?
It's a state trial. It's Alvin Bragg. Whether you think there's a political motive for him, it's not connected to the DOJ. I mean,
Shannon,
the feds passed on these election charges.
Shannon, you should look at how many logs they have of state officials, Letitia James, Fannie Willis, visiting the White House, and then tell me that this is not a Biden trial. I don't care.
The feds pass on this case is the point I'm making.
You're right. The feds passed on this case. Also, DA Cy Vance passed on this case. And
years
frankly,
ago, and then it came back.
And Bragg passed on this case. You know when it came back? When he decided to run for office. Mm-hmm. So tell me how that's not an indication that Joe Biden, who just sent his campaign down here with Robert De Niro yesterday, isn't a part of this. Frankly, any question that we had of that was squashed yesterday. And if you have even more concerns about whether he's involved in this, look at the fact that he is publicizing, literally publicizing, for tonight to have a speech if a verdict comes out. That's a sad state of affairs. Meanwhile, our country is falling apart. He's got bigger fish to fry.
Do you not think, though, that any president would want to weigh in on something that's this historic, a former president, his predecessor, whatever the verdict or decision may be?
I wish that Biden had that same sentiment about the border, fentanyl, and our children being mutilated. I would prefer that he would focus on the real things instead of trying to attack his political opponent, who he just cannot beat.
Well, we'll see what the jury does and how quickly they do it. Alina, thanks for stopping by.
Yo, there we have it, guys. Trump's legal spokesperson, Alina Habba, breaking it down for us, letting us know this corrupt Judge Juan Merchan is as rotten as it gets, down to the core. We can see this just based off, everyone is acting on this case, the prosecution all the way up to the Judge Juan Merchan. He has been acting very political within this case, lashing out, getting very emotional. And that's showing that he has some type of tie or connection, personal political connection to this case. Then we got that Robert De Niro outside the courtroom showing us that this is Biden administration. This is the Bidens. He's coming out endorsing Biden and Kamala Harris in front of the courtroom, promoting their ad campaign that's in the weeks to come, and also doing that right in front of, the political opponent charade case that was brought about by the Biden administration. Got Alina Habba here breaking it down for the Fox News reporter, letting her know, hey, Shannon, we definitely know the Biden administration is behind this based off the actions of Robert De Niro yesterday. He comes all the way from Hollywood, California in order to endorse Biden-Harris campaign, promoting their newest ad that's going to be coming out weeks to come. I mean, it just shows you that this is the Biden administration. This is all, optics. This is planned out, and this is a roadmap. This is not coincidental that he is flying out to New York State right in front of that charade case, Donald Trump. At the same exact time, Trump's in court. We got Robert De Niro outside, going on and on, giving his speech, trying to give the optics, change the tone of the setting, say that this guy, Donald Trump, is a bad man. He's trying to take away our freedoms, in democracy. I mean, this is all a ploy by Joe Biden. I don't think this thing could get any clearer, and that's why we got Alina Habba here exclaiming that, this judge is corrupt as can be. This whole case is disgusting. Shannon, the Fox News reporter, asking if there's any hope left for the jurors within this case. Maybe they'll look for and they'll see the same thing that we're seeing, that this is a political witch hunt. This case brought about with little to no evidence. There is no initial crime for this cover-up. Now there's even more room for the jury to find Donald Trump guilty in this case because of the judge's jury instructions, the way that he has said there's any intent, you see there's any intent of Donald Trump cover up a crime. Not that you found him guilty of covering up the crime, it's that there is intent to cover up the crime. And the word intent, such a broad term, the jury can interpret that any way they see it. This is leaving even more room for them to find Donald Trump guilty, and it's moving towards a guilty verdict. But this is no worry to us, guys. We already knew this coming into this case. This is similar to what we've seen, Letitia James, that Judge Arthur Ingram, where they already had the verdict. They already knew Donald Trump was guilty before they even, brought about the case, before he walked into the courtroom. The judge had that motive. He already had his personal interest, political interest within his case. He has put that and injected in the jurors also. And that's why we felt like this was definitely going to be the verdict. We're going to have to lean towards the appeals court. But this case did exactly what it was supposed to do, coming based off of the words of Alina Habba, the legal spokesperson, letting us know that this case brought, mass media coverage, widespread coverage on Donald Trump that he would have never been able to pay for, out of pocket, stating that all of America's eyes were on this case. This is one of the last stabs, one of the last efforts for the left to try to get Donald Trump tried on trial for the elections later on this year. They tried to slap him with some type of conviction, and this just hasn't panned out well. The foundation of this thing was way too weak to hold the weight of, such a large scale case. The weight of the justice system alongside of the witness testimonies of those two star key witnesses in this case brought this thing crashing down. That's why Alina Habba is letting us know this case did what it was supposed to do. Even if we come to the end and the jurors say that Donald Trump is guilty, we still can take it to the appellate division, go the appeals route. This case still served its purpose by getting the message out there that, Donald Trump is a victim. This case is the one that, resided with folks the most. We've seen, the support from the Bronx. This is a blue state, a blue city, and they're coming out and supporting Donald Trump in masses. If that doesn't show you the magnitude of this case and the impact that it's had on the American people, those who supported or said they supported Biden or were against Trump have now opened their eyes and are able to jump aboard and say, hey, I can support this guy because at some point I've been targeted, for my race, my religion, and I couldn't do anything about that. That's just who I am. Definitely another insightful update coming from Trump's legal spokesperson, Alina Habba, where she's keying us in. This case is so political. We can see straight through that Judge Juan Merchan's robe, and all we see is corruption. He is corrupt as can be, down to the core. She's pointing out every single point, that this is the Biden administration setting them up to it. All these justices aren't doing this solely by themselves. She is saying they have been instructed to, bring about these charade cases by their point men, by the administration. This is not all so coincidental. This all came about as soon as Donald Trump said, hey, I'm going to be running for president later on in the year 2024. We all know this is why these cases are truly coming about. I love the analogy. I want to refer back to what Alina Habba said. This is basically like a slip and fall case where someone's just trying to get quick stab, quick grab at some cash. This is what we're seeing Joe Biden, the Biden administration do because they know they have no true chance of victory later on this year. Guys, definitely hop in the comment section and let me know your thoughts on what we're seeing. Definitely hop in the comment section, guys, and let me know your thoughts on this one. I initially said, I've been doubling, tripling down on the stand, saying that, Donald Trump heading towards this whole case being tossed out. It's going to be a hung jury. I don't know, guys, at this point, based off the jury charge instructions, very broad instructions coming from Judge Juan Merchan, we may see Donald Trump getting charged on this case, and we have to take the appeals route. But that's just my thoughts now. I know I've doubled and tripled down, but I got to retract, guys. I got to retract. I'm able to say when I'm wrong, and I feel like this one may end up, with a guilty verdict just based off the way Judge Juan Merchan has put his political interest within this case, guys. But definitely hop in the comment section. Let me know if I'm wrong. Let me know your thoughts, guys. Definitely know what you're thinking. Also, make sure you guys hit that share button and share this out to as many Facebook friends as possible, guys. Share the truth. Also, make sure you guys hit that like button. It doesn't cost one thing, guys. Hit that like button for your boy, and also hit that subscribe button as we're on the road to the truth. Hop aboard for the journey. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Go.